really good point. I actually was talking to a Republican, and they said the Epstein thing is like a nice out. It's like a nice off ramp. If you were a big diehard supporter of Trump, it's hard to be like, dude, the tariffs fucking suck, actually, or like. The economy's not really getting better. But like the Epstein thing is like, hey, he lied about this. You know what? I'm done. I'm changing my opinion. It's like a nice out. It's like a nice way to be like, well, that's a line for me because it's like acceptable. It's an acceptable out. And so I think some people are taking it just because I can't stress. I talk about this all the time, but I can't stress enough how much this economy is not working for regular people. I do not care what number you throw at me. It's just not. It's just not working for most people. Everyone is noticing. Everyone is noticing the difficulty of housing, the difficulty of finding a job. The people are more stretched for credit. Dude, when I posted that last clip talking about the massive gap between sentiment and the reported jobs numbers, people were telling me, like, dude, there were some incredible comments of people that like work in bankruptcy, and they were like, they've never been this busy. I work as a financial analyst. I've never had this many clients tell me that they're behind on their bills or they have to do revolving credit, or there's just there's so much of that, and it's so clear that people thought this would be better quicker because he promised it would be better quicker, and it's not. Um, the Epstein estate claims to have the birthday book and is willing to turn it over. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just so obvious that birthday letter is real because it's too weird to be fake. You know what I'm saying? It's too specific. The details are too specific to be. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you would. If you would make up something, it would be different. If Obama was cooking up something, you could do something better than that. Actually, it's so obvious. What is the birthday story? Donald Trump wrote Epstein a letter for his 50th birthday where he said, "You're an enigma who has a secret we both share," on an outline of women's breasts that he drew, that he doodled. And his response was to say, "It's fake. I don't doodle. I don't talk like that." He doesn't really talk like that, but he does doodle, proven. And people are saying that the book exists and is real. And as CoffeeZilla pointed out, everyone else in that book has mentioned that, like, well, maybe it exists. I don't know what I wrote then or whatever, but there's evidence of the book existing. Epstein front row at Donald Trump's wedding. Uh, that's not a great look. That's not a great look. Um, he was a +1. Your Honor, I didn't know Epstein was going to be there. He was a +1. Someone else brought him. What are you going to fucking... I could turn away at the door. It'd be a bad look. You know what's weird? Two other things I learned about this. I feel like I'm learning more about the whole Epstein thing than I ever possibly wanted. But Howard Lutnick, who is our United States Secretary of Commerce and one of my most hated men. I'm so glad he doesn't have Scott Bessent's job. Howard Lutnick wasn't just close with Jeffrey Epstein. He was his neighbor, bro. Like, not a neighbor, it doesn't even put it close enough. Their buildings, their rooms touched. Specifically, if Howard Lutnick wanted to go, I can't find it. Wait. I wonder if I could find it. Give me 1 second. I think I have. Yeah, here it is. Okay. This is the Google Maps between Jeffrey Epstein's penthouse and Howard Lutnick's. So they were fucking close, bro. It's just interesting that they show up like that. And then what's weird is there was another New York press mogul, similar to Rupert Murdoch, which was Robert Maxwell, who is Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. And he owned like the NY Post and a couple other things. And he, right before he was about to be uncovered for massive financial fraud, basically stealing all the money from the pensions of his company to live lavishly, he died mysteriously on his yacht. I didn't know any of this. But her dad has it. Robert Maxwell. So it happens. It happens. I mean, he could have killed himself. That one, he actually could have killed himself because he was about to be exposed for massive financial crimes. But there's a lot of stuff that, is just like weird and everyone moved past. Very strange. Very strange. Very odd, champ. It really feels like this year is the final season of U.S. politics. Bro, I feel like this year is just beginning. I feel like this is like the beginning of the MCU. Dude, we haven't even got to Endgame yet, bro. This is like, we're just kicking off something crazy. But I do want to know what's going to happen with this. I don't know. People are concerned. What is this?
1/5.
Nah, I don't care about that. Atrioc is causing all these insane politics for more viewers. Yeah, I met up with Barack Obama and I wrote these lists myself because I thought it would make a great clip. And I have to admit it. I have to admit it. Trump interview from yesterday. What's this?
Day report. Mr. President, the other day a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, "I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is." Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
First of all, I don't know that, but I do know that
She has. She's been arrested for that. You know
her
that.
friend or boyfriend
Epstein.
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, you know that.
Oh, so you're saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that and
mean,
they
she's
made
a
it
child alleged child sex
such a
trafficker.
big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
That's funny. That's funny. You just got to wish him well. You got to wish him well. Trump's always been he's a man who just doesn't have enemies, you know? Doesn't matter who it is, he wishes them well. He's willing to turn the other cheek, even for someone who's under arrest for child sex trafficking. He'll make that. He's a forgiver. He doesn't hold grudges. Famously is not still obsessed with Rosie O'Donnell for New York drama in the 80s. Still, he just moves on. He just moves on. Do you think you have something you can learn from Trump and you could one day find yourself wishing Dan Clancy well? Dude, I told you guys, but I'm going to be doing this show with Dan Clancy, I think. I'm doing like a Shark Tank thing. I don't know when it is, but it's Dan Clancy and me as guest judges. And so, am I going to ask him about Clancyville? Yes. Am I going to get to the bottom of Clancyville? Absolutely. Absolutely. But am I going to squash the beef? Probably also that. This is not a bit. I'm actually going to be on a Shark Tank thing. Not Crypto Shark Tank. It's a different thing. When is this? I need to check this out. August 13th. When is that? So that's in like 3 weeks. Yeah, in like 3 weeks, I'm going to do a show with Dan Clancy. I don't know if it's live or if it's recorded. But I am going to meet Dirty Dan. Is it in Clancyville? I'm actually barred from going, so no. We had to host it in Los Angeles. My passport is banned from Clancyville because of my thought crimes against the state. You should open by calling him Dirty Dan. I just can't not bring up Clancyville. He owns a megatropolis, 10 million strong. I have to mention it, but I will be cordial. Okay, we're both co-hosts here. I don't want to let my drama. It's bigger than Tokyo. It's bigger than Tokyo. Please, throughout all the pitches, just sneak in Clancyville stats when giving feedback. Hey, great pitch. Great pitch. This would really be useful to citizens of Clancyville. I heard they have a real problem with lead in their water. So this filter would actually be really good. There's 10 million people there, so you could actually save a lot of lives. Wouldn't you say so, Dan? Dan, what do you think about Clancyville's crime rate? Oh, this go over well in Clancyville. Anyway, he's a smooth talker. So by the end of our conversation, I might be rating him because he seems to be really wanting people to rate him. So, guys, we might be rating Dan Clancy after the co-host guest judge. Bro got me starting to believe this is a real city. I'm not joking. I wouldn't make this up. I wouldn't run with a bit this long. Clancyville's a real city, and it's 10 million strong. And he has complete and total dominion over it. that's the things you need to know, is that he has complete and total dominance over a massive, massive mega city. It's a kingdom, really. His word is law. It's walkable, though. Yeah, I mean, the Clancy train will get you around, but to what end? Okay, one other thing I want to talk about today. Today, Wednesday, was Tesla earnings day. Where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it? Dude, everything's freezing because of this fucking Photoshop. Where the fuck? Oh my God. I also have... Dude, I have like 600,000 Age of Empires replays open too. I was mass sorting every Age of Empires replay to find pro players that played Vikings. I was mass sorting every single game played in the internet in the past 6 months to try and find all good players playing Vikings so I could fucking learn. Sorry, let me just fucking close this. Okay. Okay. All right. So, listen, today, Tesla earnings. Now, this whole week has actually been big tech earnings season. I talked about this on the podcast, but the main theme of it has been investors asking questions about profitability, which Wall Street for a long time has been content to be like, oh, you said the word AI? Stock go up. You're good. But now Wall Street analysts and hedge funds have been asking on these calls, hey, when are we going to see a return from all this AI spending? Like when you're spending hundreds of billions of dollars, that's really cool. How does that make money? So that's the bigger theme around big tech. However, in Tesla's case, that doesn't even really matter because the car business is not profitable. The car business is already declining. It's not even growing. So today was Tesla earnings, and it came out that the Q2 revenue was having the largest year-over-year decline it's had in a decade. Okay? Big drop. 16% slide in profits. Now, it's not a massive drop. It's not like a collapse. It's not like Lockheed Martin, which announced an 80% profit drop. But it is a consistent declining car sales. That's the root of it. They are basically reporting they are selling fewer cars every quarter. And the company is priced as if it's on rocket ship growth. And instead it's seeing like slow decline. So that's, obviously doesn't make a lot of sense. And Elon Musk said openly, this is crazy. The CEO on the call goes, yeah, we could have a rough few quarters. Things are going to be rough for the foreseeable future. By the way, a few quarters for Elon Musk, when it's promising new products, could be 12 years. But he basically said, okay, things are looking rough for the next, foreseeable future until we get robo-taxis and Optimus robots and more affordable vehicles. And we've heard this story before. But the reason he's saying it's going to be so rough in the near-term future is not just because car sales are down, but because they are finally getting cut off from the government teat. Okay? The one thing about the big, beautiful bill that is really hurting Tesla, the reason he was so against it, by the way, is that it no longer they can get money, huge amounts of money, from selling carbon credits, selling regulatory EV credits to other car companies. And last year, they made $3 billion from these sales, which is like all of their profit. This is gone. It's already halving this quarter. It's going to get smaller every quarter. So all that money they could get from selling EV credits to other car companies is disappearing, which is going to seriously hurt their bottom line. That means the only cash coming in is just from selling cars, and selling cars is getting harder. So they're having to slash prices, do 0% down loans, and are just selling fewer of them. So the business does not make a lot of sense. Again, it never really has all the time. However, maybe robotaxis, maybe Optimus. We both have heard those before, but there's something new. There's something new that's going to turn Tesla around. They just launched the Tesla Diner here in LA. Okay? And that is a famously high margin cash geyser business. You can sell burgers at a diner and make some real, that's a multi-trillion-dollar game changer. By the way, I'm going to go to this in IRL stream from there because I want to see it. Now, to be fair here, this is kind of a fun little idea you can charge and eat at a diner. But the amount of time spent talking about it was inordinately high given how it has absolutely zero impact on the business, except for the really cool epic bacon you can buy for $12. Now, this might get them back in the green. This might get them back in the green, dude. $12 epic bacon, 4 strips, might just turn this company around. Who cares about lost car sales when you're making these kind of margins on bacon? So I've got this graph here. Obviously, EVs was their past, and then it was robotaxi and FSD, and then it was solar energy. But now the big profit comes from cheeseburgers, baby. That is where the future of this business is, and that is why they're going to 12 trillion, bigger than Google, Apple, Facebook combined. Okay, I actually do fully believe in them. The other big earnings report today was from Google, which I think reported a little better. They beat estimates. However, they are still spending absolutely gargantuan amounts of money on AI. So their revenue was up 14%, which is awesome, but the profit wasn't there because they spent all of that and more on more data centers. So it's possible, man. I can't tell you what's going to happen here. They did say, I listened to the call. They said, what did they say? They said, like, he specifically mentioned that AI, you know that thing when you Google search something, you ask a question and it just AI generates a response, and so you don't even click anything? People were worried that that AI summary would hurt link clicks because that's where all of Google's money comes from. All of their money comes from people clicking on ads, for Google. That's the vast majority of it. Actually, YouTube's pretty profitable now. So it turns out, according to them, they could be misrepresenting the facts here, but the AI summary is actually more profitable. People click more. Like it hasn't. Those pages, they're up 13% or whatever in terms of click through and sales. So I don't know, but they're at least indicating that the AI stuff has not hurt their bottom line. So that's where they're at. I mean, their earnings were better. I will say that. And I do want to say, when I talk about Google, I'm a little bit skeptical about their AI spend and the return on that. And I'm skeptical about how their core business will survive the growing dominance of like ChatGPT, people using that for search. However, I'm not skeptical at all about the dominance of YouTube. YouTube is crushing. Google is now printing money from YouTube. It is the most dominant media business out there. People that grew up with YouTube are using it all the time, even on their TV. It's killing Netflix. I mean, not killing Netflix, but it's crushing the numbers of Netflix and other streamers. So if it was its own business, I would actually invest in YouTube. But as part of Google, it's tough to say. It's tough to say. What about Twitch? Much less bullish on that. The iPod thing again? You mean if YouTube was broken out, it'd be bigger than Nike? That's not even a hot take. The AirPod thing was interesting. YouTube would be bigger than almost every other company. YouTube would be a top 20 company worldwide broken out. Easily. How does it have a CEO if it's not its own company? That's so normal. Twitch is a CEO and it's owned by Amazon. You can buy a company and give it a CEO. The CEO just runs that specific company. Do you think if the government separated Google and YouTube would be better? I do think that. Yeah. I do think that. I think if Google and YouTube were separated, YouTube would build a search competitor and Google would build a video competitor, and they would both have to innovate and improve and offer better deals. Maybe fewer ads, maybe better splits with content creators, whatever. There'd be competition, but there's not, so they can charge whatever they want. Anyway, those are the two updates I want to talk about. I mean, I think the Tesla stock was down after hours, like 5%, I guess. Not a major move. I'm not sure that, I don't know what'll happen. I mean, the market's very frothy right now, very bubbly. We're in peak. Retail trading is way up. People are buying zero DTEs all the time. I really don't know. Things have been green. So I can't imagine there's a major impact in the short term, but I will say that the stuff I said in that Tesla video holds true in that the long-term business here doesn't make sense as is. The valuation doesn't make sense. Again, it's a growth story that isn't growing. It's bad luck. That historically always ends in disaster, but maybe Elon's different. Bubble baths are good. Why are bubble markets bad? I never thought about that. I never thought about it like that, bro. That's actually such a fucking good take. That's actually such a good take. Discuss this. Think about this. There was a video that I wanted to watch because apparently I'm featured in it. On the Reddit, someone posted, Atrioc should react to this, not just because he's featured in it. It's called The Great Buyout. But my understanding is this video is about private equity buying YouTube channels. So just to be clear, I have been bought by Bain Capital. This stream has been wholly owned by private equity for over a year now. Okay? I'm an employee on the clock. And they paid me a multi-million-dollar payout. You think I want to talk about fucking Dan Clancyville? I've been forced to by Bain Capital.
If you spend long enough on YouTube, there's now a very good chance that a substantial share of your watch time is going to channels partially or fully owned by private equity. Major firms operating in this space have raised...
But the reason I say that is like, why am I mentioning this video? I haven't been bought by private equity. I didn't even know about this. So I'm interested in what context I'm going to be mentioning in this video.
billions of dollars collectively from companies like SoftBank, Amazon, Disney, Goldman Sachs, and Blackstone, and they are using that money to acquire YouTube channels as